So, question number 21. Which statement describes the conversion as magnesium minus and G2 positive, right? So, this conversion, if you see that it is changing from 0 to 2 plus, which means that it is actually releasing 2 electrons, and which indicates that it's an oxidation. So on the basis of that, I can easily mark A and C wrong, right? Now, the change is oxidation because till here B and D both are correct. There has been loss of electron, which is the correct statement. There has been gain of electron, which is the wrong statement. So your correct answer is B. Is this clear?
Yes,
now,
sir.
When water is liquid, it ionizes slightly. Yes, Aslan, are you saying something?
No, sir.
Okay. So water dissociates into hydrogen ions and hydroxide ion. The forward reaction is endothermic. It means that the delta H would be positive for the forward reaction. And for the backward reaction, it obviously would be negative. When the temperature of water is increased, which change takes place? The water becomes acidic. Is this correct or wrong? Or why? So endothermic, what is the connection with the endothermic being acidic?
Sir, D.
Because hydrogen ions and hydroxides are both in equal amount. That's why it is not being considered as acidic. Okay, so first statement is wrong. Is this clear? Let me see. The water becomes alkaline. No, it is also wrong. Yes. The more water molecule forms ions. Yes. When we increase the temperature, the equilibrium shift towards the endothermic side, and our forward reaction is endothermic. So more dissociation occur, more hydrogen ions and hydroxide ions would form. So the third statement is correct, which means A, B, and C, all three are wrong, and D is the correct answer. Okay. Now, question number 23. Which law correctly describes the solubilities of both ammonium sulfate and sodium carbonate? So, if you recall, ammonium sulfate have a ammonium ion in it, and sodium carbonate have a sodium ion in it. Sodium is in group 1, and if you recall the solubility rules, all group 1 compounds and ammonium compounds and nitrate compounds are water soluble. So, it means wherever there is an insoluble written, all these three are wrong statements, and the correct one is D, where it says that both are soluble. Okay. Now, question number 24. Lead to chloride is an insoluble solvent. We have to take a sample of lead to chloride. So we needed two reagents which must be water soluble in order to make an insoluble salt. So lead to carbonate and dilute hydrochloric acid. Now lead to carbonate is insoluble. So A statement goes wrong. Lead metal, again a metal stays insoluble. So this statement also goes wrong. Aqueous led to nitrate. Yes, all nitrates are water soluble. And dilute hydrochloric acid. We can go for this statement. Lead to oxide. No, lead to oxide is also water insoluble. So D is also wrong. A, B, and D all are wrong, and C is the correct statement. Yes, Hassan and Abdullah, is this understandable?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Abdullah. Okay, now question number 25. The Haber process is used to make ammonia. If you recall the process, in this process, nitrogen gas, 1 mole of nitrogen gas reacts with 3 moles of hydrogen gas reversibly to form 2 moles of ammonia, and this is an equilibrium reaction. Which catalyst is used in this Haber process? Okay, it's used in the Haber process is iron. You must remember this thing. Okay. Some compounds containing nitrogen are used as fertilizers. The table shows some nitrogen containing compounds, whether they are used as fertilizer or not, for a reason. For this, which row is correct? Aqueous ammonia. Used as a fertilizer, lowers the pH of soil. No, aqueous ammonia is an alkaline. It's a weak base. So A is wrong. That is the wrong statement. Ammonium carbonate used as a fertilizer. It have ammonium, and ammonium normally used as a fertilizer. It is insoluble in water. No, wrong. Ammonium carbonate, all ammonium compounds are water soluble. Ammonium chloride, it uses a fertilizer. Yes, is made from the product of the Haber process and the contact process. Haber process gives us ammonia, and contact process gives us sulfuric acid. So when we react both of them, we get ammonium sulfate, not ammonium chloride. So C is also wrong. It clearly indicates that B is the correct statement. Ammonium nitrate, fertilizer, yes, is soluble in water. Yes. Is this clear? Yes, Abdullah and Hassan, is it clear to both of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now question number 27. An atom of which element has the same electronic configuration as an atom of an ion of strontium? Okay, so we have to look into periodic table for strontium. Strontium have an atomic number of 38, right? It's 38. So atomic number of strontium is 38, and they are talking about the atom of an ion of strontium. So it must be 2 positive, and if it must be 2 positive, so it means it have a 36 electrons. So we have to look into which one have a 36 electrons. So let's look into the periodic table. Yes, if you see krypton have a 36 atomic number, so krypton have a 36 electrons, right? So krypton is my correct answer, because krypton atom have a 36 electron and strontium ion have a 36 electron. So B is the correct one. A, C, and D goes wrong. Is this understandable to everyone? Okay, let's proceed to question number 28. Metals are elements that have many similar properties because of their structure. Which statement about metals is correct? Metals are malleable. Yes, because the layers of the atoms can slide over each other. Yes, it can be possible. But if you think that the A option is correct, don't select the A option and you read all the rest of the options, and then you can decide. Metal conduct electricity. Yes, because their ions vibrate. No. In metals, free electrons can move, so B is wrong. The melting point of metal depends upon the strength of intermolecular forces. Completely wrong. Intermolecular forces are actually between the molecules, and metals don't have a molecules, metals have a atoms. To form an alloy of two metals, the metal must have very similar ionic radii. Not necessary. It can be of any size. So A is correct answer. Okay. Okay, Hassan and Abdullah.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Now, question number 29. What happens when a strip of a silver is immersed in aqueous copper 2 sulfate? So if you look at their position, copper, we have a hydrogen, below hydrogen we have a copper, and after copper we have mercury, silver, and gold. So if I have a container containing aqueous copper 2 sulfate, that is CuSO4 aqueous, and in that solution I am putting a strip having the silver of silver. So silver is below, so there would be no reaction that occurs. So A, C, and D goes wrong, and B is your correct answer. Is this clear? Now, question number 30. Four metals and hydrogen are arranged in order of decreasing reactivity. Okay. Which statement about these elements is correct? Aluminium is formed when aluminium oxide is heated with hydrogen. So aluminium is above and hydrogen is below. So if I heat aluminium oxide with hydrogen, does hydrogen displace it or not? Hydrogen cannot displace it. So no reaction would occur. So A statement is wrong. Yes, Hassan and Abdullah, is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Abdullah. Copper displaces zinc from aqueous zinc sulfate. So it means I have a zinc sulfate and I am adding copper. So if you see, copper is below. So do copper displaces the zinc from zinc sulfate? No. Again, no reaction would occur. So B is also wrong. Copper is formed when copper 2 oxide is heated with hydrogen. So copper 2 oxide when heated with hydrogen, if you see, copper is below hydrogen, or actually hydrogen is above copper. So yes, the reaction may occur forming water and giving us a copper metal, right? So C is the correct answer. This would happen, but let's mark D as a wrong first. When added to water, aluminium forms a positive ions more readily than potassium forms a positive ion. No, potassium is more reactive, aluminium is less reactive, and even aluminium forms a protective layer of its oxide instead of being releasing the ions. So D goes wrong, and C is correct answer. Okay. Now, question number 31. Iron is extracted from hematite in a blast furnace. Coke and limestone. Coke refers to carbon and limestone is calcium carbonate are added to the blast furnace. What is the function of limestone? So if you recall the function of limestone, initially limestone decomposes due to the high temperature. Thermal decomposition occurs, forming carbon dioxide and calcium oxide, and the calcium oxide form reacts with the impurities that are silicon dioxide to form a slag. It decomposes and neutralizes the acidic impurities. Is this correct or wrong? It is the fuel which heats the furnace? No, that is completely wrong. It oxidizes the iron in the hematite? No, it doesn't react with the iron. It releases oxygen, allowing coke to burn? No, it releases carbon dioxide, not oxygen. So see, here, if you don't know the correct answer, but if you go for the wrong ones, you clearly indicated that these are not the way. These are not the correct ones. So you have a now correct answer. And let me recall you, see, it decomposes. This is correct because in the first stage that is happening. Neutralizes acidic impurities. This is also correct because calcium oxide is a metal oxide and metal oxides are basic, and silicon oxide is a non-metal oxide. and non-metal oxides are acidic. So both the things that are written in the part A and the option A are correct. Is this clear? Now, question number 32. Carbon dioxide, methane, and oxygen. CO2, CH4, and O2 gases involved in carbon cycle. Which of these gases may contribute to global warming? It is, I think, Rasan. Methane and carbon dioxide, very good. Not only carbon dioxide, oxygen is not the answer, and not only methane. Carbon dioxide and methane both contribute to global warming. Hassan and Abdullah, is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now question number 33. Two statements about the water in lakes are given. Fish are unable to live in some lakes because there is insufficient oxygen in the water. Okay. Fertilizers can be washed into lakes where they cause eutrophication. Okay. Both statements are correct. Statement 2 explains statement 1. Yes, both statements are correct. Both statements are correct, but statement 2 does not explain statement 1. Now you have to identify which one is correct answer. Eutrophication is the process when the fertilizers along with the water leaches out from the soil and start accumulating in the nearby water reservoir or the lake. When the concentration of these fertilizers rises, then a green algae will form on the surface which blocks the sunlight. So the photosynthesis stops, and as a result, the bacteria over there consumes all the oxygen inside it. So yes, statement 2 is explaining that statement that eutrophication, oxygen, the level of the oxygen goes down in the water. Okay, so B is wrong, and A is our correct answer. Okay. Okay, Hassan and Abdullah. Now, the rest of the 6 question I assume 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. 7 questions. These all from organic. Chlorine reacts with methane. Which draw is correct? Okay. If you see, is this the correct equation? No, because whenever this reaction occurs, HCl will form. So this H2 is telling me that these two statements are wrong. Because when chlorine displaces the hydrogen and the hydrogen comes out bonds with the other chlorine atom to form HCl. Okay. So these two equations are completely correct. Now we have to look for the conditions. Methane and chlorine gases are mixed in the presence of ultraviolet light. Methane is bubbled into concentrated aqueous chlorine, which is correct. Do we have to bubble the gas into aqueous chlorine, or we need to react both the gases in D is wrong. Look at open the notes and check. We have discussed that this reaction, the reaction of an alkene with the halogen occurs in the UV light. Hassan and Abdullah, is this understandable?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Abdullah.
Yes, sir.
Now, which statements about alkenes are correct? Alkenes having a carbon-carbon double bond, and if you recall, their general formula is CnH2n. So they have a general formula of CnH2n, correct. They undergo addition reaction with steam, yes, forms alcohols. This is also correct. They burn in here to form carbon dioxide and water. Yes, this is also correct. So they say they didn't mention, so it means it is a complete combustion. And they are saying carbon dioxide is forming, so it means it's a complete combustion, and they didn't mention you whether it's a limited oxygen or a sufficient oxygen. So we consider it as a sufficient oxygen. Okay, so A is wrong, B is wrong, C is wrong, and our D option is correct. Is this clear? Yes, Hassan? Okay, now question number 36. X is the branch chain hydrocarbon, okay, with the ratio of carbon atoms to hydrogen atoms being 1:2, X has a relative mass of 56. What is the identity of X? So it means from this ratio, I can conclude that its empirical formula is CH2. They are saying that carbon atom and hydrogen atom ratio is 1:2. So it means one carbon is bonded with two hydrogen atoms. That is its empirical formula. Its molecular mass is 56. So if I go for the value of N, which is the MR divided by empirical formula mass of 56 over 12 plus 2, 14. So can anybody divide and tell me the answer?
4.
So it means CH2 H8. So now interesting thing. If it's C2H8, so it would be CnH2n. No, sorry, it's not C2, it's C4H8. So we are yeah. So it's CnH2n, and if it's CnH2n, it's probably an alkene. So I clearly mark this wrong because it's a branch, but it is not an alkene. It is C4. If you count, it is C4H10. Now, if you look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so it is also wrong because we got this formula, right? Now, both, and if you count this, it is C4 H6, but the other thing, it is not branched. So we are left with the B option. So B option is correct. It's branched and it is C4H8. Yes, Abdullah and Hassan, is this clear?
Sir.
Okay. Now, question number 37. The reactions listed all involve ethanol. Okay. First one, if you look at it's oxidation, where ethanol is turning into ethanoic acid. If you look at the second one, it's an esterification or a condensation where ethanol is reacting with ethanoic acid, forming ethyl ethanoate and water, right? And you look at the third one where ethanol is being formed from the glucose. So it is the fermentation. So one is oxidation, A and B goes wrong. 2 is esterification. So we got our correct answer, right? So C also goes wrong, and D is the correct answer. Clear? Yes, Hassan and Abdullah, is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Now, question number 38. Let me do it in this way. ethanoic acid is repeated of the ester produced. So see, if you recall, propanol alcohol turns into alkyl and carboxylic acid turns into alkanoid. So it would be propyl ethanoid. So on the basis of that, I will mark my B and D options wrong. Now you have to figure it out that which one have the structure. So the alkanoid part or the ethanoid part have a C double bond O carbon, and the alkyl, the propyl part have only hydrocarbon part. So if you see over here, the alkyl part have 2 carbons, and the alkanoid part have 3 carbon. So it is indicating me that they have drawn propanoid and ethyl. So they have tell you the correct name, but the structure is of ethyl propanoid instead of propyl ethanoid. So that A goes wrong, and my correct answer is C. Is this clear? Yes, Hassan, is it clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Abdullah. Okay. Question number 39. The diagram shows the partial structure of a polymer. Which type of polymer does it represent? If you see over here, which link is there? Yes, C double bond O bonded to nitrogen. So it's a polyamide. So B, C, and D goes wrong, and A is my correct answer. Yes, Hassan and Abdullah, is this clear?
Yes.
Okay. So remember, if there is a C double bond O bonded to a nitrogen, then it's a amide link, and there are multiple amide links in the structure, then it is called polyamide. In the same way, if double bond O is bonded to O, then it's an ester link, and if there are multiple ester links in the structure, we called it polyester. Okay. Now, question number 40. The diagram shows the repeat unit of a polymer. Okay. Which row correctly identifies the monomer and type of polymerization involved in making the polymer. So, if you see in the polymer, there is no ester or amide link. So, it means it is addition polymer because there is a carbon bonds in the middle chain. Over here, the middle chain which is connecting on with other monomer units have a carbon bonds. So it clearly indicates that it is an addition polymer, not a condensation polymer. So on the basis of that, I can easily mark these two wrong. Now I have to choose from the other two. So if you see how we will draw the polymer, monomer from the polymer, we repeat the whole structure, and where there are 2 empty bonds on those 2 carbon, what we do, we just put a double bond instead of making the empty bonds. So that is the monomer. So if you see over here, the double bond is not on the correct position. Over here as well. So C goes wrong. So it means our A option is correct. Yes, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Abdullah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we have completed one paper in the 2 sessions.